So good morning. Pretty sure some of you are supposed to be on that concourse, as you are, and just keep helping us with distance and doing the best we can all do together. I appreciate your getting to these seats and keeping at physical distance you're in. There are a number of people really concerned about all of this for good reasons. And after assembly last week, I'd gotten a couple of phone calls, and I said, we're trying to do our best, and we will keep doing so. And I was just telling Mr. Tips that since we're doing the sports assembly program this morning, there's something really right, it seems to me, about keeping up with the normal procedures the best you can so that it feels as normal as possible. So let's all keep trying to do that together. I had an email this weekend, late Saturday night after I was asleep, and then early Sunday morning I read it from Drew Wilson, a senior. And Drew said he needed to talk to me about a personal issue. And I was able to reach him early Sunday morning. Drew's brother, Carter, died on Saturday. He was at Auburn. He was a sophomore there. Carter did not go to MBA. He attended BA. And Drew obviously was devastated and wanted to talk. He'd talked to a couple of other faculty and friends. He's processing all this. He's not with us this morning. Bo Wilbanks, the president of the senior class, sent out a really nice note to the seniors saying this is an important time to show your care for one of our classmates. And so I mention all of this in the context of thinking about Drew and his family and expressing our own sympathy to them. I'd like you to join me in giving a round of applause to Cummings Levi for earning his Eagle Scout Award. Let's recognize him. And on that theme of just kind of doing what's normal, we've got a number of events this week. Again, Mr. Tips and I were just talking about not having some ninth grade games because of a COVID exposure, which we're sorry about because they were playing the other night, but they'll be back. It's just, we hope, 1 week. But there are a number of events, athletic events. There's a college night this Thursday. There's a ring breakfast for the juniors Friday. Please continue to do your best job as possible in the mornings, reading announcements or telling advisees about announcements, being on time, and doing what you need to do for those meetings. When we exit the assembly today, I'm going to try to do it in shifts so that not everybody's leaving at one time, just to help us, as I said, practice the distance. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tips, who's going to introduce the sports for the fall.
Morning, guys. It's good to see everybody. A few weeks ago, during the fall, Mr. Joy and I decided it might make sense to wait on the fall sports assembly until we got into this building so that we would maybe have a chance to get some of you in here like we have, which I think is nice when we're recognizing teams and athletes. So I'm glad we're able to do that. And I just want to emphasize something he said before we start this ceremony. We've gotten off to a start here that's not surprising given a lot of holiday travel, where we have a lot of kids who've tested positive, and we've got a lot of kids quarantined right now. And so it really is important, if we all want to continue to gather here and have a semester together like we did last semester, that we really, really get vigilant about this. I'm really bad about it myself, so I understand. It's not in your nature to want to stay apart or to wear masks. I've gone out and bought more masks, stuck them in my car, stuck them in my pocket, stuck them in my office, stuck them in my classroom, because we need to really, really stay diligent on this, okay? Today we're going to celebrate our fall sports assembly, and we're going to be looking at 4 sports. crew, cross country, golf, and football. And so the coaches of those sports are going to come up in that order and talk about their teams. I'm really proud of these guys. We're always proud of them, always proud of our boys on our teams, but I'm really proud this year. This has been hard. It's been hard for all of us, hasn't it? And it's been really hard for these teams just to try to go day to day, not knowing if they're going to have practice, not knowing who's going to be there, getting meets canceled, that sort of thing. And I'm just really proud of how hard our coaches have worked and how hard you guys as athletes have worked. So I'd like to ask first Coach Kessler with crew to come up and talk to us a little bit about that program, and he'll be followed by Coach Russ with cross country. Coach Kessler.
Good morning, gentlemen. First, I want to take a moment to thank everybody who reached out and sent emails or letters or to me over this past fall. It really meant a lot. And please do the same for Drew. Don't worry about having the right words. Just reaching out will mean as much to him as it did to me. So for the crew season, it was definitely unusual. At the beginning, we didn't know what we were going to be able to do because you can't physically distance in a boat. You're stuck with the guys around you, and thanks to some very, very generous parents, we were able to buy a fleet of small boats. And so the boys were able to get out in singles and doubles, which are a lot less stable. We had a lot of guys that were trying out for Mr. Killian's swim team early on in the small boats. But the benefit with the small boats is your skills improve drastically, and then having that equipment now opens the pathway to more events to qualify for the Nationals later on in the spring. We were able to get in 2 events this fall. We were able to race in Oak Ridge over fall break. There were 15 boys that were able to make it, and all 15 came home with at least 1 medal. And then we were able to have the Class Day races, the inaugural one of those, where seniors versus juniors versus sophomores and freshmen, and then each class picks their own lineups, who's in what event, and the seniors won by 1 point over the junior class. If you want to do the letters on the screen. So we had still had a slew of boys on the water still rowing with us to get their letters. And because it was an unusual year, there was only one special award. Go ahead and keep scrolling through all the second-year letters. And the one special award this year was the Via Romano Award. So Via Romana it's the Roman way. There were 14 virtues to which every Roman citizen was supposed to aspire. And if you read through those virtues, they're very similar to what an ideal teammate would be. Dedication to others and integrity and work ethic. And so we have a shell named the Via Romana. The 14 virtues are on other different boats, and every year at the Class Day races, one senior will get their name put on the boat. So this year, Austin Vaughn is the inaugural Via Romana winner, and his name will be on that boat for as long as that is part of our fleet, and every year another senior will get added to it. So we're getting ready to start our winter training. The plan is to still, hopefully we'll be racing in the spring again, and we'll go up to the Midwest Championships and try and be the first team to knock off St. Ignatius and New Trier since 2002 as the top team in the Midwest. So if you boys are still looking for a spring sport to fall in love with, for rowing you don't have to be athletic, you just can't be afraid of working hard. If you come out and work, myself and the coaches and the rest of the boys on the team will make you fast. All right, thank you.
Now Coach Russ in cross country.
In the midst of really abnormal times, cross-country season was amazingly normal. It's an activity outside, moving, doesn't tend to lend itself to large crowds. So we were able to have a fairly normal season, which was a surprise. We didn't know that even as late as mid-August. There were meets that weren't on the schedule. We were not able to do our normal team camp, but then once the season got rolling, it really was normal. As is true most years, we started Long before school started, the very first week of June, we began meeting in the park for group runs a couple of days a week, and then as the summer went on, added days. Long, hot runs in the summer. But those are good times to build fitness and also camaraderie. Mid-September, our competitive season finally got underway. We were on the same Saturday in mid-September. We were 3rd out of 13 teams at the Holloman Midget Invitational in Hendersonville. And our JV group actually went up over to Dixon County that same day and racing other varsity teams. It was 1st out of 12 teams. We were 3rd out of 25 at the McCauley Invitational, 1st out of 7 at the Crockett Park Corral, 1st out of 13 at the Metro Championship, and then 4th out of 14 at the state championship. The state meet was one aspect that was a little different this year. For the first time in 50 years, the race was not held at the steeplechase and instead was in Hendersonville. It was also on a Friday afternoon instead of a Saturday midday, which meant that for the first time in over a decade, there was no Grill and Chill Club meeting, which has been a wonderful tradition. And I've always loved the way that folks come out and support the cross-country team. I hope we can go back to a Saturday state meet so that we can do that again. You can start scrolling through letter winners. While letter winners go up, I also want to acknowledge the season that Coach Reynolds and the Microbes had. They were undefeated, and not only undefeated, but swept the top 5 places in every single meet that they ran, which is unprecedented. The special awards, as the letter winners continue, the Most Improved Award to Alex Drakowski, who I think is out today, but he went from honestly being a somewhat mediocre runner last year to being a key varsity runner this year. Really worked hard. If you know Alex at all, you also know his enthusiasm and the energy that he brought to practice every day, and that was a huge part of his improvement. Several accolades for William Holloman, in addition to being the just clear leader of the team among the runners. He also finished 5th overall at the state meet, earning all-state honors, and he became only the 2nd ever 2-time winner of the Tour de Pants, which is also quite an accomplishment. Congratulations, William. I'm really excited about our future. There's a fantastic dynamic with our current sophomores and freshmen, and then the group that Coach Reynolds and his team will be sending up to us. And if you were wondering, it is a good day to run.
All right, next will be Coach Jackson with golf.
Good morning. Going into the 2020 season, the NBA golf team knew we had some challenges. We had to replace 3 seniors from an historic 2019 team, a team which included an individual state champion and a top 10 national ranking. We had additional challenges of new COVID protocols that actually disrupted our routine, changed some schedules, and so forth. And as evidence of these challenges, after our first 2 events, we had a match record of 2-9. However, we also knew that we had enough talent and experience to turn it around. Individually, our top twosome of Max Hastings and Bradford Cummins were really consistently strong all year. Max was the individual champion at the D2 AA Middle Region Championships, while Bradford contended in the state championships really up until the last few holes. The turnaround for the team, however, came at the next part of the lineup, with senior Joseph Robertson and juniors Jack Manning and Reed Smith really rounding into form. At Regions, a narrow 2nd place finish by 1 shot really confirmed the improvement. And during the state championships, several boys rose to the occasion, and we had a couple put their best rounds of the year at that most opportune time, and only Baylor really bested our 2-day total. So while the improvement in our scores throughout the year and our state runner-up finish was impressive and satisfying, especially considering how we started, Those alone don't necessarily make it a memorable season. In our program, we strive to give the boys a great team experience, something that is not trivial given that golf is inherently really not a team sport. We challenge the boys that for those 3 to 4 months a year, your golf game is not just your own, but is your team's and your school's. And these boys embrace this concept from day one, resulting in a team that passionately rooted for each other and a team the NBA could be proud of. Now, the golf season, I guess somewhat like the cross-country season, not a whole lot of disruptions, and those cannot happen unless we have good coaching throughout the program. And I want to thank specifically Coach Hedmark for helping with the varsity, Coach Settle, we had a really good JV season this year, and also Coach Kelly and Coach Caudill, who had a really good junior school season as well, one of the best we've had in a while. So if you can put the letter winners up. Yeah, the letter winners this year, we had a mix. Freshman Tyler Bartell, junior Pierce Hill, junior Jack Roberts, and senior Jack Spivey were first years. Second years, Cummings Levi, Joseph Robertson, and third years, Max Hastings, Flynn McCrae, Jack Manning, Reed Smith, and we got some 4 years, Bradford Cummins, and Hagan Tyrone. So again, I want to thank all the coaches. As far as special awards, we do have special awards for our team. We're going to wait. We're going to wait till our banquet at a time that's yet to be determined. Thank you.
And last but not least is Coach Urard with football.
Good morning. This year's football season was one met with many challenges. Our summer training used a makeshift outdoor weight room. We had limited use of locker rooms. We took temperatures daily. Our first 3 games were canceled, and not to mention all other efforts made to mitigate risk and keep our season alive. Our normal routine was drastically different from the past. It would have been easy to get discouraged, to shut down, or just quit on the season, but not this team. I witnessed a group of young men fight to make this season take place. They came together as a family, and our team grew out of adversity. We kicked off the season in early September with a fast 3-0 start, highlighted with a huge win over Innsworth. We then dropped 2 hard-fought games in a row, but our boys battled back on the road against a good Christian Brothers team to secure the region championship. Versus Christian Brothers, we lost an early lead, but the Big Red came from behind to win the game on a successful 2-point try with only seconds to play. The Big Red then beat a very good Baylor team in the quarterfinals, also coming from behind in the second half. We would finish the season losing a tough game to MUS in the semifinals. Although this season didn't bring a state championship, in many ways, it was a remarkable season and one I'll never forget. I believe I'm most proud of how our team united when the outside world seemed divided. They supported each other through hard times, especially when one of our own players was dealing with his father battling cancer. I'm proud of the love they showed for each other, for their team, and for their school. And I'd like to finish by saying how much Joe Davis meant to me in our football program. No one loved or cared more for NBA than Joe Davis. Now I'd like to recognize quickly here our players that made the Division II AAA All-Region team. Patrick Wilk was selected as the co-offensive player of the year. Lucian Bernetti, wide receiver. John Endem, offensive line. Daniel Gall, defensive line. Rhett Hales, running back. Zach Herbstreit, tight end. Grayson Morgan, offensive line. Marcel Reed, quarterback. Collier Dale, offensive line, and Andrew Bulgarino, kicker. Our honorable mention for the region was Sam Banks at wide receiver, Nasir Cook, defensive back, Ethan Lilly, offensive line, and Maxwell Battle, defensive back. Also, players that were selected to the Division II AAA All-State team. We had 4 players make All-State. Marcel Reed, quarterback, Lucian Bernetti, wide receiver, Grayson Morgan, offensive line, and Patrick Wilk, running back. Now I would like, if you'd put it on the screen, to recognize our letter winners for this year. Our first-year letter winners, mainly our sophomore players, and H. McElwain, a freshman that earned a letter this year. Our second-year letter winners, our junior players, with the exception of Marcel Reed. And then our third-year letter winners, our senior players. And then we had our fourth-year letter winner, Zach Thomas, a very special kid, manager for our football team. And then last but not least, our fifth-year letter winner, Jack Edwards. Yeah, give him a hand, yeah. I would like to do what the colleges do and give Jack a fifth year of high school if we could. Since we haven't had our banquet, we don't have any special awards to give right now, but I would like to close in doing a few thank yous. A special thank you to Mr. Joya for his tremendous support, and a special thank you to all the faculty who helped at the gates taking temperatures and tickets. I know that wasn't easy. Also, I want to thank Coach Tips, Coach Anderson, Coach Simpson, Ms. Dreyer for all their hard work, Ms. Susan, Steve, and the dining staff, Coach Raines and Coach Stewart for all their hard work, Jim Slichting and the maintenance staff, Coach Cheevers, Coach Fernaccio, Coach Story and Coach Smith and the 7th grade staff, Coach McMurray and the 8th grade staff, and Coach Sawyer and the 9th grade staff. And last but not least on that, my varsity staff. I would also like to thank the entire faculty for your love and support throughout the year. And finally, to you, the student body, I'm sorry that we all weren't able to attend the games together, but thank you for making this a great year. Roll Red.
Thanks to these 4 coaches and those programs. We have just a couple of announcements. Jason and Mauro, if you'd please come up, and then Mario and William after that.
Hey everyone, so I have 2 announcements. First, the Tearing Down the Walls Asian Cultural Panel will be held Thursday, January 21st at 5:30 in Pfeffer Auditorium. And it's going to have a lot of different perspectives from a diverse group of students and faculty about Asian culture in our society, and I guess more closely MBA. And Assembly Speaker Sam Huh, if you remember him, will be on the panel as well. Mr. Sawyer will be sending out a form to sign up either in person or on a live stream at the end of Assembly today. So be sure to fill that out. And you can also see your teachers in the science, history, English, and language departments to see if they'll give you extra credit for attending. Secondly, I want to tell you guys that Chalophony this year will still be taking place, most likely in this event center. So if you don't know what Chalophony is, it's a student-run benefit concert that benefits the W.O. Smith School of Music, which gives lessons to kids across Nashville at little to no cost. And this year, we'll be live streaming the event as well as having a limited audience. And we'll have more information about that in future weeks. But if you want to attend, it's a really fun time, and seeing your fellow classmates perform, and you're donating to a great cause as well. So now Mara's going to talk about auditions.
All right, so usually we have live auditions, but this year we will have them virtually. You can send in video recordings anytime from now until Saturday, February 6th. It can be any style of music, individually or with a band. Chalophony also has its own house band, so if you need other instruments to accompany your performance, that can definitely be done. If you'd like to audition, I'll be sending out a Google form with information about your performance, as well as instructions for submitting videos. Please email me, Jason, or William Rogers, all class of 2021, if you have any questions. Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Mario Mansour. William Myers and I are leading the Stock Market Club this year. I just wanted to make a quick announcement about our meeting in Pfeffer tomorrow during break. I think it's really important for you guys to get involved in this type of stuff because no matter what walk in life you choose, it will end up benefiting you in some way. You guys can learn a lot about, companies, how they work, and, how politics can affect the market. Moreover, it's just a good opportunity to get ahead of the game because, whether you study it in college, you'll end up using it. I highly encourage you guys to sign up. All you need is 3 team members. You can have as many as you want, but at least 3 team members, a name, and attend our meeting tomorrow during break in Pfeffer. If you have any trouble fulfilling any of these requirements, please reach out to me, William, or Mr. Tillman, whether it's not being able to attend the meeting, or if you're having trouble finding any teammates. As you can see, NBA's fall semester winning team poured in a lot of effort with coming up with their name, so congrats to the team No Name on winning NBA's fall semester stock market game. Those guys were Parker Davis, Sebastian Sigarin, Mike Grant, William Haggerty, and Hubbard Wheel. On top of this, NBA held 8 of the top 25 teams in the state. A huge thanks goes out to Mr. Tillman and Mr. West for being able to make these meetings a possibility. Thanks for hearing me out, and please consider coming out to tomorrow's meeting. Roll Red.
Thanks, Maura. So please sign up for the stock market game. Over the weekend, Dr. Creamer sent me a note that Thomas Zuthan, who graduated last year, Quinn Knath and Ethan Lilly all have had science research published in the Vanderbilt Young Scientist Journal from the research they did at Belmont University's summer research programs. Also, Dr. Fuller sent me a note to say that the theater department will have auditions for NBA's next production, 12 Angry Men, in the Black Box downstairs theater area in Davis. Production dates will be February 25 through February 28. Email Dr. Fuller if you have any questions. I wanted to recognize Bradford Cummins, who was recently placed on the All-State golf team, and also William Holloman, who was placed on the All-State cross-country team. And this past Friday night, we were pleased to have 2 wins in this building, the first basketball games ever. And you'd be pleased to know the first points scored were a 3-pointer in the 9th grade game by Nick Brunetti and a 3-pointer in the varsity game by Miles Versa. So congratulations to all of them. Now, as we leave today, would those people in the fixed seats there and on the sides please stand first and begin exiting, and then afterwards, those of you on the floor, let's leave at that point. Thanks for your great attention today. We're dismissed.